Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I wanted to make a little video talking about, for maybe November and October of 2020, some of the stuff that's been trying real hard to jump into my pocket. Stuff from my permanent collection that I've really been enjoying lately and that I've been carrying in my free time. This was inspired by Slicey Dicey. He's a great YouTuber, really, and a great guy, generally. If you're not subscribed, you should be. But anyways, Slicey does a video at the end of every month, like most carried in November. Great idea. Doesn't work as well for me, though, because generally speaking, at any given moment, I'm carrying something new on the table for review. I've got, I have a long dance card of things I got to review, so to speak, and so actually carrying something that is from my own collection feels a little slackery to me. It's like, Shabazz, come on, get with the program. People are waiting. And that's the best problem to have ever, right? But as a result, I can't say most carried because, yeah, but these are the things that I've been really tempted and I've been really enjoying carrying lately. So let's just start from the top, quite literally. Right here. Civivi Mckenna. This is a brass version of the Mckenna. I've reviewed the Mckenna before, actually. It's a really nice little design, great little front flipper, just beautifully done. And this particular version, like I said, it's got these brass scales. It's got a CPM or a 154 cm blade here. This is a relatively inexpensive knife, but it is way, way nicer than you would expect. What I mean by that is it is excellently done here. I am a big, big fan of the Mckenna, and the extra little bit of weight, although it is definitely the balance on it is a little weird. So you have a very, very thin and small blade, but a relatively heavy set of scales. It still adds a little bit more substantiality to it. This is a great little knife, and it's one that I've definitely slipped into the pocket on occasion since I picked it up. Next one, Oz Machine Company Roosevelt. This is not reviewed yet. It's probably not going to be reviewed for a little while because I could review this, and it's kind of like, reviewing a freaking dinosaur. Like, oh, great, can't get one. Because this guy, his books are closed, and, he's a very hot maker right now, and for a good reason. The reason I was able to get one of these guys is a good friend of mine gave me his book slot, so I ordered this one, and it's great. It's got a really nice bearing action on it. It's got a very nice thin slicey blade. The maker is just a nice guy, generally speaking. This has been very easy to slip into my pocket, and I've been very much enjoying it, but yeah. So the Oz Roosevelt here is absolutely a great knife. Next one's a weird one, right? This is the Winter Blade Company Factor. And this is one that I actually ordered, right? It's got the Juma pivot here as well as a Juma lock bar. And it has a Damasteel blade, a Timascus anodized frame there, and then just the weirdest freaking mechanism ever. This is a magnetic lock bar, as well as a magnetic detent. This guy is so freaking weird. It is ridiculous. I am a big, big fan of this particular little knife here. It is absolutely excellently done. And it's been sneaking into my pocket more often. But just if nothing else, it's so unique. It's unlike anything else in my collection. Next up, Olamic knives, Whippersnap. Whipsnap, great knife. This is a knife that it's great in the hand. It's got a really nice blade to it. It's got very nice fit and finish. They're just good. The Whippersnapper is a knife that is absolutely stellar and, really keeps finding its way back into my pocket on a regular basis. It's so easy to carry, just size-wise, and just easy to carry in that it's a very easy knife to open, to deploy, and you've got a bunch of different options. I can't say enough nice things about the Whipsnap. It's a really nice piece, and it just keeps jumping in there. TRM Neutron 2. Look, my feelings on the Neutron are not exactly stealthy, so to speak. The Neutron 2 just improves it. It basically makes the Neutron 2 on par with the Atom in all of the relevant ways, and that's a beautiful thing, right? I've got the micarta scales on at the moment. Might put the carbon fiber back on there, but either way, this is very, very easy to carry. If I was just going to be carrying one knife, this would be a pretty decent one knife to carry, right? It is a really good piece. Next one is this guy. This is the Spyderco Delica. Size comparison, Spyderco Delica. But this has the K390 blade. K390 is a material that is not stainless particularly. It is a blade that you are absolutely going to need to take a little more care of, but it is a nice steel. Like the original Delica's in VG10, which is barely adequate or barely inadequate, depending how you want to think about it. K390 is more than adequate. This is a crazy steel, and in fact, it strops up such that this may be the sharpest thing in my collection at the moment. This is just a really nice knife, and it's made me fall fall back in love with the Delica platform. Turns out that pairing a really great design with a steel that is top of the class, so to speak, really does remind you just why the Delica design is so great. And so I've really been enjoying carrying this guy, and that is an absolutely beautiful thing, and I'm glad to see that this is something they're going to be doing on an ongoing basis. Next up, Protech Malibu. This is a great knife. And as a matter of fact, by the time this airs, you're going to know that the Malibu was my knife of the year for 2020. And I think with good reason. This is a titanium one. You originally saw this on the channel with a blue handle. But the blue combined with the dark gray blade never quite worked for me. It was pretty and a lot of folks loved it, but it never quite worked for me. And what I ended up doing is sending this to my buddy EDC Gearhouse over at Way of Knife in Michigan. Absolutely great guy. And he just he de-anodized it and just did a great job here. Also dyed the backspace. But now the knife looks like this just mean great thing. It's amazing. I like this so damn much. And the Malibu itself is an amazing design. It's very, very hard some days to leave this guy in the box, so to speak. This is good. The Malibu really earned every little bit of that 2020 award there. Another one of my contenders here is the Shot by Design Void. This is the Knife Nuts Podcast Edition, which has the Timascus inlays, as well as a slightly different blade texture, with a hand rub sort of finish. It's just a good knife. It really is. I wish it's a little thinner, right? But at the same time, it's just good. It's just really good with a nice detent, nice action. This is one of the nicest production knives I own, right? It's just been done so spectacularly in terms of design as well as in terms of the fit and finish. Just even the Timascus on this is just the nicest damn Timascus I may have come across. I mean, you see really nice pieces, but this is just beautifully figured. And, especially when you compare it to sort of more budgety Timascus, this stands out. So this is a truly outstanding knife here, and there's a reason that this, too, was one of them things. In fact, this was an honorable mention. This was an honorable mention. This was so weird that I didn't even include it because it's hard to get anyways. It's basically a custom. Honorable mention, winner, honorable mention. Yeah, it's a thing. Then next up is the Sandrin knives Deletore. This is a tungsten carbide blade. And it's also, the other thing about this knife is it is so damn thin, right? If we put this up next to the Delica, this thing is tiny. This may well be thinner than the Void blade overall. It damn near is, right? That's thin. And so it is a super thin, super slicey tungsten carbide blade. It's a slip joint, but it's done in a very, very nice way, and I just like this. This is a really, really easy choice to throw in there, and I've been carrying it pretty regularly, and I haven't even thought about sharpening yet because, well, it's a freaking tungsten carbide, right? It's going to take a little bit of doing to get this guy dull. Then finally, this guy has slipped into my pocket lately. I have not historically ever been a Swiss Army knife person, right? Partly because the steels aren't super impressive in light of modern innovation, so to speak, and partly because I just never had one that I particularly liked. But a good buddy of mine actually gave this to me, and this is a special Swiss Army knife. It's Norman Morris Corporation. This is the corporation that was importing Omegas around the time of the Apollo program. So when the Speedmaster become the Speedmaster, and this is an Omega branded little watch knife that they've got there with a case back opening tool here, which given, I'm not using on a regular basis of opening cases, but still, and it has a very nice little blade in there, and it's so damn easy and small to carry. Throw this guy in a slip. It is so straightforward, and it is super people friendly as well. So I've been enjoying this partly because it was a very thoughtful gift from a great guy, and partly because it's just a really nice little knife. And in fact, one could even argue that I am developing a Swiss Army problem. There is in my Discord for my Patreon patrons, there is the sanctuary room for Swiss Army knives, and they've been getting to me lately. I picked up this little guy here, which is another Victorinox. Nice thin little unit in the Alox, and then actually... a buddy gifted me this guy after I mentioned where was it? I mentioned at some point selling my Swiss Champ being a really dumb move. And he got me this one, and it's a brand new one, and it's actually better in every way than my old one because the pull on it is much more reasonable. It's not such a nail breaker as the original. And so is this going to get a whole bunch of pocket time? Maybe not, but it's a cool thing to have back around, and who knows? I may well carry it, and it does have some advantages, right? The Magnify also got it way better in the time since. Here, look, let's magnify that Timascus. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Anyways, I digress. So this guy's been finding some pocket dime lately. And of course, the knife that everybody should have in their pocket, the Nick Shabazz edition Victorinox. I only found at Blade HQ. They should be getting more of those in here shortly. Anyways, so those are the kinds of things, these are the kinds of pieces that have been jumping into my pocket lately, and the ones that I've really been enjoying. And, you know, there's lots of stuff in my collection I enjoy, and by God, if you don't see something here, I do not want to hear, Nick, would you sell me, blah, blah, blah. No, this is just the stuff that's been in there lately, right? So, you know, that's the joy of a collection, is circling back to pieces that you haven't carried in a little while, right? So there you go. It's a flex, let's be real here, but hopefully it was an entertaining flex, and, you know, yeah, have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.